G'day guys, Morezy here. Welcome back to Morezy Plays Minecraft, episode 58. Is that music playing? How is the music playing when I have the music off? That's what I want to know. It's still going. Anyway guys, progress here. Check it out. I've been working very hard at this Guardian farm, and I'm doing something very similar to what Azuma did. I don't know if this is exactly how he did it, but I figure it will work. We're only building it this big at the moment, so you can see it other sides over there. We've still got more space to build, and I built it just so that if we do want to expand it, we don't have to do much, excavating or anything. It should still work. So the next thing I wanted to do is lay down these rails, and I'll go over a little bit on how they're meant to work once we finish doing that. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the issues with placing adjacent rails next to each other. So let's imagine this is one of our little tracks here. We can place other tracks next to it just fine, but when we get to the end here where there's no more track, they'll automatically switch. Now there's a few ways you can stop that. But one thing that I'm going to do here is actually use just a few different methods of placement to stop them joining together. So what we've got here is we've got these little hoppers, and the hoppers are going to be what empty our hopper minecarts, which are going to be travelling on this track. They alternate, so hopper here, no hopper, hopper, no hopper, and so on. And at the other side it's the opposite, so there's a hopper on this one and no hopper here or here. So now what we want is, I've positioned this just so that the last powered rail doesn't receive power, and we do that so that the hopper minecart can stop, and then when it's emptied all that it's holding, this will be powered again and it can continue. And that's the same at both ends. So that basically means when there is a hopper here, it needs to go that far, but of course if we want to place this next row, then we can't. So I'm trying to think. I'm losing all these rails into these things here. Let's see if I can get them back. Now I've also got some droppers at the bottom here. They're simply to hold whatever the hoppers pick up, because I'll show you why later. But let's see if we can get some of these rails to be placed. Now my idea is, if we do this and make that long, and then let's say we started at the other end and we come all the way up here and we stop here. Now clearly that's opposite to what it needs to be. These rails here need to actually be on top of the hopper, but as soon as I place this, they join up. So here is my idea. Just put it there for the moment, so it's like that, and then break it, and then they actually stay put. And then if I place this one, it doesn't join up. So then I can do the other side, and it won't join up as I'm going along. So that's the idea. So if I start like this, let's go all the way down the other end here. Okay, so this one here is where it's supposed to be. We can start the row here and go all the way back. You can see I've put redstone lines all the way through, which power it eventually. There we go. Get all the way down here. Okay, let's stop before we go too far. Right, so this one here needs to go over here. So then we will just break that one and place that one, and we're all sweet. Of course, because this has rails going in both directions, we actually need to leave this here for the moment, because we'll need to do both sides, so we'll need to put one here as well. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I can just do that. That would be handy if I just did that and then just join up the ends. That should work. Alright, so I'm going to go through and do all that and see how we go with it. Okay guys, so it looks like we're almost about done here. You can see this end here. Now this is the one where we've put the rail here, which actually needs to be removed, and rails need to go here and here instead. And you can see it's not joining up at all, which is really good. And up the other end, The beauty about doing it this way is that the rails are already in the correct position, so they're good, they're good. We just need to put some blocks here probably, and I don't think that'll affect it if I do that. Yeah, very good. So these ones are fine, it's just the other end that we have to fix. So, I pretty much, all I did there was just do every second row longer than it had to be, and then came back and filled in all the gaps, so that worked quite well. Alright, let's see. Now, just another point here is that I've added this top row on both ends, and that's only so that I can add on to it. So if I hadn't have done that, and I tried to put rails here, they would have joined up to this one. So I've just extended it a little bit further on both ends, that end and I think that end. That way I can keep going this way if I want to later. So, let's go ahead and remove this one, and I think we actually can just go all the way along, I'm pretty sure. There's a few guys ending up in the hoppers there. I'm pretty sure we can just go all the way along, and it won't affect it. I'm hoping so anyway, because I really don't want to have to do this again. Okay, that one, and that, oh, she's gone. Okay. The only other disastrous thing that could happen is I could accidentally flood this area and screw everything up. Right, so now we should just be able to do this. Yeah, that's perfect. Very good. Working perfectly. And we're nearly out of rails here. Awesome. That's it, those lines are done. So then we'll just come back through in a minute and replace the blocks that these guys have to run on. I've got plenty of iron to set up minecarts. I've got more hoppers to fill up the minecarts with hoppers. And I've just started to dig a little access channel down the side here. And what we're going to do is have a line of hoppers running underneath here. They'll run underneath there and collect all the drops from all of these units and bring them all down to a central point, which I think is this point right here, and they can be funneled down into a central collection point with chests and other things. Alright, so I'm going to keep going here with the placing of the blocks here, and then we'll come back with the mechanism on how we're going to unload. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some of the logic of these minecart unloaders that we're going to have to build about 50 of in just a minute. I've got all these lines set up now. Now, one thing that we need to do with these minecart unloaders is obviously make them unload a minecart that has quite a lot of stuff in it. So let's just sit our minecart down on this rail for the moment, and imagine we've got a whole bunch of these going across the rails that I've just put down. Now, this is all well and good, but once the minecart picks up a certain number of items, it will only slowly drop off a few items at a time. 1 or 2 items each time. And that's obviously no good, because the rates that I've seen this spawner produce on other channels and other videos, like Azuma's one for example, it's going to need to unload a lot quicker than that. So we actually need to make this minecart stop so it unloads its whole load before it goes again. So let's just change this up a little bit. Now, I actually discovered a little bug here. I assume it's probably well known, but I didn't realize. So this, at the moment, I've got a redstone block powering here, which enables this to be powered all the way to the end. But because it's also being powered here, when I remove this block, it actually stays powered, even though technically it's out of range of that redstone block. So that's a little bit interesting. And if I update it, it turns off. So that was interesting. But this is essentially what we've made so far. We've got a whole line of redstone powered rails. Now there's a leak here and I don't know why. We've got a whole line of redstone powered rails except for the last one, which is unpowered. Now, our default state for this should be powered, so let's build in a little detector system, use some comparators, and we'll check if the hopper is empty. And if it's empty, we want this torch here to be on, which it is, and we want that torch to power this block, which also powers this redstone dot, which then powers that rail. So as a default, if the minecart is empty, it will just continue cruising along the track, minding its own business for as long as it has to. Now the trick here is that we need to get it to stop. Now if I was to put in a couple of items, the comparator detects that the items are being unloaded, but now they're stuck in here, and the minecart stops because obviously these aren't going anywhere. So if we put another little hopper under here, like so, and we had that hopper drain all of the minecart systems all the way along, it should be okay. So that's empty now. Now let's fill this up again with something else and see what happens. Okay, so it's taking out of the minecart, but it's not stopping. And the reason is because I believe hoppers actually take some time to suck up items and also some time to release them. So that time is actually means that this section here is never actually occupied. It's immediately sucked out by the hopper below it. So when we put more items in there, it will never actually activate this comparator. So that's a problem. Now, luckily, I found out that if we just have a little different method of putting those items in, we can actually trick it back into working again. So I've been putting droppers underneath these hoppers with hoppers under the droppers, and now it recognizes that it has items in it that go into there, that then go into there, and it will stop. But once it's finished, the difference here is that it will keep going. And that is the way we do all of the systems for these rails. Unfortunately, you can't tile them next to each other, but that's okay because due to the way I had to place the rails, they're always offset by one anyway. So we'll have a bunch of systems at this end and a bunch of systems at that end, and that's how you make an efficient hopper unloader for any of your farms that use this sort of a collection system with the hopper minecart. So a little bit further on, we've got most of our redstone underneath organized. You can see these guys are turned on. I've used some of these blocks here to act as the transfer of power. We've got comparators on all of these, and I've also installed a hopper line underneath. So line of hoppers just go into that dropper, which then goes straight down into these hoppers, and so on and so forth. This is the central point, and I think what we're going to do is have everything funnel down to the middle, and the middle is going to be where we have chests that fill up, and also we're going to have the option to turn this into an XP farm as well. As I understand, the XP from these guys is quite good. So that will all be done by channeling all these guys almost identically the way Azumavoid has done. I mentioned him again. But yeah, basically they'll all funnel down to the bottom with some water. So the next step for me is to actually grab a bunch of slabs, which I do have in some other chests somewhere, and basically I'll just fill these in. Now I've designed it so that this is actually 7 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll release water, which will then fall down to the next row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay. 7. There we go, and that'll fall down to the next row. And this row here, I think we're just going to use pressure plates to direct the water down this direction. So that's the plan. I think I might actually have a central drop shaft here. If it's not a drop shaft, it'll be one that goes up. What would you call that? An ascension shaft. But yeah, that's what we've got to do next, is we have to lay all these slabs out, and we'll end up putting some, probably just some dispensers like in this position here. And these spiders keep falling. They must be something to do with their pathfinding, but they manage to fall between those 2 block gaps. They try and move around, but they fall through all the time. So yeah. Anyway, more progress as you see. And pretty soon we'll have this humming with minecarts, and hopefully we can start collecting some of the drops that we're missing here. Okay, and again we've got more progress. Quite a little bit different than we had before. You can see all the minecarts are running along their respective tracks. Everything works perfectly. I've got all the slabs down. The lighting actually looks really cool, and it's all sort of getting to a nice, neat situation. We've just got some very, very basic primitive collection systems going on here. So I've just got a hopper going into a chest, and what I've got to do now is actually go up and start putting down some water. Now, one thing I realized as I was watching back the footage that I just recorded on how the water system will work here is that the water system works fine until it gets to this point here. Now, for some reason in my mind, I thought I would just put pressure plates, you know, like here, here, and here, and then start a new row of water and keep going. But then I realized if I do that, I actually need some way to put that water down, like a dropper or a dispenser or something like that. So that just won't work. And if these blocks here is only 7 across, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th block will land here, which will mean this whole section here will fill up going to the middle here, and this one will do the same. So this won't actually funnel anything to the center at all at the moment, the way it is. What I'll probably have to do is probably drop this whole system down, and I still haven't worked out how to do that yet. So I'm going to ignore the XP side of things for the moment until I have a better plan on how to do it. But let's see if I can show you. I'm just going to sleep here so the sun comes out. It's easy to forget whether it's day or night when you're working underground, that's for sure. And it's certainly hard to record when it's nighttime. So let's sleep here. I want to show you what I've been working on up top, and that took quite a lot of time as well. So I don't know if you can see it on the recording, but we've got some really neat and tidy lanes set out here. I've got signs, I've got slabs. There's still some mobs spawning up there, but that's okay for the moment. We'll clean that up later. But it is ready to put the water down. So I'm going to run up the top here. I've got my buckets of water, and we're going to start putting water down, and hopefully we'll start getting some spawns pretty quickly. Okay, so this is what it looks like up top. As you can see, there are some mobs spawning around. And just in case you didn't realize, yes, spiders can spawn on a 1 wide block. You wouldn't think so, but they actually can. And that means you could actually make a spider farm out of this if you made it 1 level high. But anyway, we've got these little channels here which I'm about to fill up with water, and just to make sure I've got the spacing right, so we'll have our source block here, and we'll have 2 blocks of downdraft underneath, and that looks right from up here. So I'm just going to run along, place the water just like so, and hopefully get some guardians spawning. Okay guys, another thing I didn't anticipate is that when the water is flowing down, you can't use it like an infinite spring when you're filling up a 1 deep water channel. So I have to place buckets all the way along here. So to stop that, what I'm actually going to do is use slime blocks and make a false floor. The reason I'm using slime blocks is because they are very easy to break. So I'm just going to run along here and make a false floor, and then I should be able to just auto-generate a infinite stream. And then when I'm done, I can just break the slime blocks and the water will flow down. That's the plan. Well, it's a success. We've got all the lanes populated with water. There is downdraft, and it didn't take as long as I thought it would. And we are getting spawns. It's a little bit slow at the moment because I haven't done any cave clearing whatsoever, and there's also plenty of spaces up there for mobs to spawn, but we are definitely getting drops, and seems to be a little bit of a sweet spot over here between these two sort of areas. So I'm guessing that maybe there is a big collection of caves over in that direction, and maybe just by standing here I'm a bit out of range, because when I'm on that side over there I don't get anywhere near as many spawns. So that's something that I'll have to work on slowly, and honestly I don't think I'm going to need it to be any bigger than this. I think to make it any bigger would just be something to do because I'm bored, and I've got plenty of things that my time are better worth spent doing. So yeah, as you can see, there's quite a lot spawning there already. That's plenty, and as I said, I haven't even gone caving yet and worked out how many more I can get. Actually, this spot's quite good. I might mark this spot. So yeah, pretty happy with this. Of course, we're going to have to go down and build a much larger storage area if I'm going to spend any time here at all, because the two little chests that I've set up will be very full very soon. And speaking of which, let's go have a look. This has been running for probably about 10 minutes now, maybe 15. And if we go down here, take a look. Get rid of these slime blocks, of course. So we've got quite a modest result, but we've definitely got some going. There's two ends, of course, so this is only half of our drops so far. And if we run up to the other end, we can see the drops on the other side. No ender pearls, unfortunately. Now, this is an interesting phenomenon. You can see that these bits are stuck on the ledge and they don't get picked up. I'm not sure why, but they definitely don't get picked up. So I would have thought they would be well within the reach of this guy coming along. Oh, he's just picked up one. That's weird. Or maybe, or did the one underneath it pick it up? Maybe that's the case. Let's no, I can't test that anymore now. And now I've broken it. Okay, let me get out of here and we'll have a look at the other side. Okay, here we are down on the other side. As you can see, this side actually appears to be doing a little bit better. But again, very slow, but still, that's to be expected without doing much caving to get rid of the spawnable spaces for the other mobs. So next to do in this place would be to clear out all the unused blocks up there, which is all that row there, another full row on the other side, and then also obviously build in a bit more spacious storage room underneath. So that's something that we need to do. But I've had more than enough of this project so far, and I think we're going to go and look at something else. Okay, we're back again at the main base, and on the way over here, guys, I just had a bit of an idea. It's strange when ideas come to you, they can hit you at any time. And I was thinking about how I'm going to set up the storage system for the Guardian farm. And then I thought about the drops that you get from the Guardian farm. They're all pretty standard and they don't change very often. So I came up with an idea on how to use some minecarts to reduce the number of hoppers that I have to use and potentially make an auto-sorting system without all the complicated redstone. So this idea I haven't really tested. I've just built it here to try it, and I've set up some chests here with this method, which is basically filling up everything available in the chest with particular items that you want, leaving no room for anything else. And that's one way we can sort things. And let's pull this out here. And my idea was that hoppers will suck up the item regardless of whether it goes in the chest or not. But then what happens if a hopper sucks up an item that won't go into a glowstone chest? Well, it just sort of sits in the hopper, and most sorting systems will then have a hopper underneath that which sucks it out and moves it on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So I thought I would cut out the number of hoppers we're using and just use one hopper minecart. And this is just a small scale test, but I'm thinking it'll work. So here is our chest that we want to have sorted. Let's put all the items in that we need sorted. And I'm just going to put a hopper minecart on the tracks. And that should... oh, there we go. That should actually sort all our items for us. So what's happening is the hopper minecart is coming along here, picking out items out of the chest. Quite fast as well, and it's very slowly depositing those items into each of these hoppers. Now if the hopper decides that it can go into that chest, it's putting it in there, and if it can't go into that chest, the hopper minecart picks that item up again when it comes underneath. So it's basically almost using trial and error to see if it works. Now I don't claim to be to to know how fast this would be, but it's certainly a very simple and elegant method of sorting out items. And if we have a look for that first chest, we can see that all the items are being sorted in the correct chest. Maybe if we introduced another hopper minecart, it might sort it slightly faster, so let's try that. We'll wait for this one to go around. Here we go. So now it's possibly going to sort 2 items at about the same time. This one here will probably have a few more items going into it. But just a bit of a concept. Again, if you use this in the situation of our Guardian farm, which is just high output, very low number of items, you know, unique items, so there's only about 4 or 5 drops we're going to get out of that farm, I think something like this would be more than suitable, and we wouldn't have to use heaps and heaps of hoppers to get it done. Just a few minecarts running around a track. Okay guys, so this has been happening quite a lot. I've been falling through this lava when I've been going through the portal at my iron farm, and so I took on your guys' suggestions and put down some cauldrons here with water. And I think it's a great suggestion, and the only real problem I can see is if you're here and you fall into the cauldron. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh, first of all, it's tricky to fall in, but when you try and get out, you have to be careful, otherwise you'll actually... Oh, there we go. Otherwise you'll actually jump up into the lava again, so I probably need to drop these down a little bit further. But still, great suggestion, and obviously that'll put me out when I'm on fire, which is always good. But yeah, so keep those suggestions coming. I love it when you guys suggest things, because often I don't think of them. I never thought about cauldrons, of course. I don't really use them, to be honest, so that was a great suggestion. So make sure you keep those suggestions coming. But let's go back to the iron farm and wrap up the episode. Alright, and here we are back at the iron farm. And the last thing I wanted to show you for this episode was what I've done with the outside there. First thing though, I want to show you this, and I've turned all those ingots into blocks, and that's where we're up to at the moment. I emptied out this chest, and that chest, but I've still got this one all the way up to the top there, and I think that much there, so there's still quite a lot to go. This thing's really working well. Alright, let's go up and have a look at what I've been doing up here. So, last episode I finished off with the iron golem's face, and I've done a little bit more that I want to show you. And let's just climb up to here. Oh, stuck in the trapdoor. Okay. Oh, and it's raining. But, here we go. So, I've started with the body of this guy now. Oh, the rain stopped. Perfect. Started with the body of the guy, and of course I need to get the hardened clay and the different colours into there as well, so it's all blending in. That torso there is a little bit long, but we do need to start a leg here and then also have the arm come down. But you might also notice we've got a sideways face here. So if you turn your head sideways, you can sort of see this is his face, this is his eye here, this is his eyebrow here, and he's sort of buried in the ground sideways, and there's some leaves and stuff growing on the top. And also over here we've got another guy, and he's underwater, so he's buried underneath the water. There's his face, and I imagine his body's out here somewhere. We'll probably put one of his arms sticking up out of the ground, and I think that'll look pretty cool. Last thing is I've started doing these little custom trees, and I actually just made an axe so I can finish this off. So let's do that quickly. I'll get a few more logs here. So the way I'm making these custom trees is I'm just using some spruce saplings, growing a 2x2 spruce tree which have really good leaf structures, and then I'm pretty much just replacing the middle with these birch logs, and I think it looks really cool. So there is an example. Let's just get up here and finish this little bit off, and we'll take a little look. So pretty much just go straight up like this. There's a little bit more left here which I need to clear out, so we'll clear that out. But that's the sort of general idea. You have to be careful not to take too much off, because then the leaves start to decay. And if they start to decay, you've pretty much undone all your work. So let's actually step into this side. We'll put that log there, and then we'll do this little bit up here as well. And I think we're just about ready to finish this one up now. I actually might have to pop out the top here as well, so I can actually get out. And this one, there we go, awesome. And I'll just break this leaf block here. Oh, and that's the only problem with placing these logs, is they go sideways sometimes. Let's fix that. There we go, that is it. And can I get down here without dying? There we go. Let's clear off this little bit. Alright, and that's what it looks like. So I think it looks pretty cool. Custom tree. Looks pretty fake, but I think it looks pretty cool. And obviously I've just grown another one there, but that didn't turn out right. So that's all we're going to have time for this episode, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the new sorting system idea that I had, and this setup here. I think you guys will probably enjoy it. And I probably won't make another episode until after the new year now, so I didn't do a Christmas episode this year because I sort of ran out of time and I didn't really know what to do, so better to do nothing at all, I think, than try something and screw up. So that'll be the last episode for the year, so make sure you stay safe in the holiday season and enjoy yourself, and we'll see you again next time.